Welcome back to Between Two Screens. I have with me today calling in from Seattle.
Yep.
Anita Degen, founder of the eponymous, I love that word, design firm, Degen Degen. Anita, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So first off, can you tell us, are you at home? Are you in your office? What has been your sort of remote setup the past few months?
Yeah, well, we've been very fortunate. Everyone in our office is, of course, working from home, except for Jeff and myself and our office manager, Melissa. We have pretty much the entire 14-story office building to ourselves. So we're able to social distance. It's been nice because it's allowed us to sort of keep our routine.
And have the designers who are working from home been able to generally stay as productive and as in communication as they were? Were you nervous going into it? Are you happily surprised?
We are happily surprised. You know, we've always been huge proponents of in-person collaboration, and we still are. And we do see, you know, a few cracks in the process with having everybody sort of scattered out remotely. But, you know, we use Slack and we have regular meetings, and I just really have to hand it to our team. They adapted immediately. Almost maybe a little, yeah, almost maybe a little too easily. But yeah, I think it's, you know, it's really going to change the way we work.
Certainly. I'd like to just take the opportunity to get to know you personally a little better. So we heard a little bit about growing up and what jobs you had. If you could do a totally different job for a day, what would you choose?
Well, I've always kind of wanted to be a truck driver.
All right. What about that inspired you?
Yeah. You know, just hitting the open highway and having all that power, you know, and, you know, seeing the countryside, and just it feels like freedom. And I would like to get my stuff there a day early, as opposed to most of our truck drivers, which seem to get there late.
What do you do for fun outside of work?
Well, I'm a fencer, so I'm a competitive saber fencer. So that's a lot of fun. I also do a lot of hiking, and my husband is a big fly fisherman, so we spend a lot of time in Montana.
And yeah, do you have a go-to cocktail at a bar?
So I am more of a wine drinker. I will do a classic margarita.
All right. All right.
Shaken on the rocks.
And so Jeffrey, same last name. Is he your husband?
Husband.
Significant other? What's that like?
Well, again, really great that we can get out of the house and come to the office. Yeah, you know, Jeff and I met, you know, in the 80s working for Marriott Corporation. And when we started dating, we decided to, you know, leave Marriott and go work at different firms because we didn't want to be dating and working together. And after years and years of doing that, we just realized, you know what, we can work together and be married. So, you know, for us, it works fine. You know, we enjoy it.
So if someone came to you and said, a couple came and said, we're thinking about going into business together, what's like the one piece of advice you would give them to give them the best chance of success?
Great question. That is a great question. I think my one piece of advice would be a rule that we instituted very early on, which is if we don't feel like talking about work, we just say, you know, no work talk, and everyone has to respect that. There's no sort of forcing work into the personal life, and there's no forcing personal life into the work life. So, you know, having respect for each other and being sensitive to that, I think is the most important key to success.
Yeah, clear boundaries.
Clear boundaries.
So getting into, I guess, your past, how did you come into the design industry or hospitality industry? Were you from a young age interested in design, or did you take a more circuitous route?
Very circuitous. So, well, I've always been in the hospitality industry since my very first job. I started working at 16. I've been working ever since.
What was your first job?
My first job was at Ponderosa Steakhouse in Fairfax, Virginia. So, you know, I was on the F&B side, and I worked my way through college. I worked at a comedy club in Richmond, Virginia, and as a waitress. Then I've worked in hotels, and, you know, I sort of found my way to interior design by accident. I really wanted to study crafts and textiles in particular. My dad was like, you know, I really think you ought to get a degree in something that you can make some money at.
Oh, Dad.
And so I was like, oh, well, now what should I do? And so I started exploring ideas. And at the time, you know, back in the early 80s, you know, interior design wasn't quite the, you know, prominent career that it is today. It was really hard for me to find information on what exactly it was. But I took a leap of faith and ended up loving it. It was a perfect blend of art and, you know, technical skills, which suited me perfectly.
Do you find that the new crop of designers are very different than, I guess, the designers of the 80s and 90s?
I do. Yes, actually, that's, you know, I've never really thought about it in that way, but they are different. They're much more tuned into trends than I think we were. You know, we looked at big movements of design style that, you know, stretched for, you know, like a 10-year movement that was really influenced by, you know, things like wars and, you know, prosperity. And today I think there's just, you know, such, you know, trends are just so fast moving, you know, with social media and visual content, attention spans are a little shorter.
Yeah. Any exciting projects on deck for you?
Yeah, we've actually, we've got quite a few projects on deck, and so we're pretty excited about that. We had some really great, really large-scale projects that went on hold right when COVID started, so that was nerve-wracking. But we have a new AC hotel in Anchorage on the boards that we're pretty excited about because we love working in Alaska.
Are you being facetious, or have you? I
am not being facetious. I love Alaska. It's so beautiful. The landscape is humbling, and it just feels like there's so much opportunity there. So we've worked in Alaska for many, many years on different projects, and so we're always happy when we can go back.
That's awesome. Before I let you get back to your work, is there anything around you that you can share with us, sort of a source of inspiration or meaning? Could be something large or small.
A couple things. Let's see. This is a gift that was given to me by one of my favorite vendors, and it's a brass horseshoe, and you can see I'm holding it in the good luck position, and I think that's something we can all use in the coming months. So I keep that right on my desk to remind me that there's a little serendipity in everything we do. Yeah.
And I hope the good times continue for you. I'm glad that if you have to be sort of stuck in a city and unable to travel, you get to be in the beautiful city of Seattle. So keep enjoying it. Thanks for joining the show, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up in person sometime soon.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Be well.